My name is Triforce, and here I am in Jamaica, preparing for a trip back to the United States. It's November 10th, 2016. 35 years ago I could not understand the importance of this date, but after all these years I do now. This will be perhaps one of the most important trips of my life as a gamer. I've been playing video games for as long as I can remember, since I was 4 years old. I've been doing it for over 3 decades now. Whether it was going from arcade to arcade, playing ColecoVision and Atari at a friend's house, or just at home honing my skills on the NES. It was all to prepare myself for this moment. Several Guinness World Records later, I now find myself visiting the proclaimed competitive video game capital of the world, Ottumwa, Iowa. This is the place where some of the greatest gamers of all time once gathered to compete at the legendary arcade Twin Galaxies. It was at this arcade that the foundation was made, the cornerstone set, and the platform forged that would turn competitive gaming into a sport. This is my personal journey to visit the home of the man who was responsible for it all, the Father himself.
Hey, drivers.
Yeah, get a picture of that. Hold your phone up.
Da-na-na-na.
We want to send that to Joel.
Okay, we're done with this?
Yeah, we're done with this. We're heading there.
We thought you decided to walk. So he can go to Nebraska, no problem, if we need him to.
Yeah. So while we got everybody in here, do we want to switch airplane dates and do Twin Galaxies development in Nebraska?
I think you should.
Well, it's only going to work if we all do this stuff together.
And what is that, Walter? That building over there.
That's a factory that makes, I think that's part of Dexter. They make washing machines.
Washing machines.
There are
Washers and dryers.
There are many laundromats you can go in around the world, and you'll see that they have Dexter, competitors of Maytag, Dexter commercial level washing machines and dryers. They're made right here. So this is a huge new expansion of the Dexter washing machine plant.
Oh.
This is where they'll be making. This is where they make.
They're expanding probably because Trump got elected.
It's all in the wash.
Yeah, that's it.
Dexter Laundry.
Oh, it is Dexter Laundry. Okay.
Yeah, they make washing machines.
Yeah, the logo. That was a horse as a logo. It looks like the Team Liquid logo.
Team Liquid, and that's one of the teams?
Yeah, that's one of the teams out there. They have a horse as a logo.
Team Liquid.
Might be the Jamaican bobsled team.
So who's the most famous team? Is it SK?
The most famous? Well, famous is
That's a relative expression.
yeah.
But who's been the
Dexter,
most,
Apache,
other than
Soccer
Empire Arcade has won a lot of contests, but who's generated the most?
Who generates the most money? I think it's EG. I think EG generates the most money. Evil Genius, yeah.
And is Alexander Garfield no longer with them?
I don't think he's with them anymore because
Is he a manager, not an owner?
yeah. No, he was. I think he was the owner and the manager at the same time.
He sold? Is that what he did? He sold?
I think so.
I've gotten on board on the first screen.
In a real live game,
In real life.
13-2, he got 13-1, and all them people that submit stuff off MAME don't count.
Because they could pause and stuff like that?
No, it's just
Pause, reset, everything.
Safe state.
Okay, Walter, here's your keys.
Thank you.
Are we going to pop the trunk, anybody?
There you go. Jerry, you're the first.
Anyway, let's see what we got going on in here for everybody. You got 4 pinball machines right off the bat as soon as you get in the doors.
Didn't really see that one. That one's Terminator 3.
We have all kinds of games here. If you get down here tonight, be sure to sign up. Tonight we're having a tournament on Bally Midway's Tapper. We're going to start that at 8 o'clock tonight.
My name is Bill Jr. I'm the co-chairman of the event. Jerry Byram was the other chairman. We put together a great committee. Dennis and Tina, Dennis Bartlett, Tina and Tim McVeigh, Michael Dudley, Terry Bertlow, Jenny Bertlow. We had Mark Hoff. We had a wonderful committee when we first started this event. We wanted to do something for the community. 35 years ago when Walter Day started this, it was just awesome times for us. We built friendships. We learned life skills. This event this weekend has had families playing, friends playing together, and it's just been a fantastic time. It couldn't have went better. We loved having the community. We loved having our guests. We loved doing what we did. This means the times back then meant a lot to us, and we hope it just keeps meaning a lot to future generations of families, friends, and kids.
Hi, my name's Jerry Byram, part of the committee for the Ottumwa Twin Galaxies 35th anniversary celebration. We put this event together for the community to give a little back, to celebrate Walter Day as our guest of honor for everything he created 35 years ago. You know, we all thought maybe we'd get together and have a lunch and tell stories, and it really developed into something more. It really developed into, let's bring people together and let's create some brand new stories. Let's show these folks what we did in 1981 and 82. Let's bring the next generation in and just launch pad their memories and their stories that they can tell about Twin Galaxies and what it means to them as well.
Every time I come to Ottumwa, I have to come to the realization that it will not be my last time to come here. There's too much history. Next year, again, there'll be the 35th anniversary, the celebration of the legendary life photo, the very first gathering of world champions. I'll absolutely be here. I mean, I don't know what to say. It doesn't really matter what's happening. I'm somehow going to find a way to fit that in. Because each time I come here, yes, I see the friends that date back as far as 35 years. But I see the younger generation coming forward, the kids behind me that you can see, the fun, the fanfare, and history that has taken roots here continue to grow. Absolutely growing. That's something that we began all the way back in 1982.
We're photobombing you. She has a Donkey Kong machine in her house.
Yes, we do.
In this town. Is that crazy? She's good at it.
That's a little intimidating.
This is what it's about.
That's a little intimidating.
Tell them how many games you have on your machine.
And what's your name?
Oh, I thought it was Paul. I thought it was Pauline. No, just kidding.
Tell them how many games are on your machine.
6 full pages.
But how many games is
so
that?
there's 60 games.
There's maybe 36.
36 games.
If there's 36, you know how many I have? 0. So you're ahead of me.
Ah!
You live in Ottumwa your whole life. But you weren't here 35 years ago. But you'll be here 35 years from now. Very good. It's a good meeting. The community of yesterday who experienced it have now come together along with the city. That's exactly the formulation that's needed for it to take the roots that were created here so long ago and have it grow into something that will continue on into the future.
Hi, I'm Tim McVeigh.
And I'm Tina McVeigh.
And we're both on the committee that helped set up and organize the 35th anniversary celebration of Twin Galaxies here in Ottumwa, Iowa. We're 2 of the committee members. Here at the arcade that we set up for the weekend event, they were showing the film here several different times over the weekend, and then down the street at Market on Main, we had it down there as well. So I was bouncing back and forth between the 2 places, watching the screenings, trying to support everybody that was viewing it.
He's the first person to have a civic day named after himself. He's the first person to ever score 1 billion points on a video game. He has a documentary about him. I mean, who wouldn't be proud of that accomplishment?
It's been a lot of fun. It's been well received worldwide, which is what really caught me off guard. I just figured it was going to be gamers, and I don't know, I didn't see beyond the United States, you know, the normal channels. And it's been all over the world. Bogota, Colombia, Belgium, Australia, New Zealand. I can't even think of all the countries I've received messages from.
I remember the first time I walked into Twin Galaxies. I can remember it like it was yesterday. I can remember plain as day the day I walked in there and I seen Walter Day behind the counter. I can remember it like it just happened. And that would be a day that changed my life. He started a culture that has lasted 35 years. Without further ado, the man of the hour, a man who needs no introduction, a man who has my everlasting love and respect for the rest of my days, Walter Day.
From my perspective, me coming here to be here tonight, in my mind, has never been about me and what I've done, more about the amazing phenomena of Ottumwa becoming a lightning rod. Not me, not just Twin Galaxies, but Ottumwa becoming a lightning rod for what is becoming the biggest entertainment modality in all of history. No other city in the world will ever own that amazing claim to be literally the crossroads of video game history and also the birthplace of organized competitive esports. The award we're going to give to Ottumwa from Guinness has really been inspired by the incredibly selfless work of Isaiah Triforce Johnson, who came all the way from the country of Jamaica to make a presentation and have some very inspiring words to say. Where is Triforce here?
Thank you, Walter. So, I'm from Jamaica, as Walter said. A lot of you guys don't know me, but I actually know about your town. I grew up on the stories of you guys' town and all the people that have ever come here to Ottumwa on Main Street to play competitively, which has been a driving force for my generation, which is really your generation. I'm actually older than you guys think. You guys really have inspired a lot in the world. This is a treasure in Ottumwa, Iowa. A lot of people don't know this. And that's the whole purpose of why I'm here. It's important that the treasure and the history of Ottumwa, Iowa is shared with everybody around the world. Everybody has to understand what Ottumwa, Iowa has done. Not just Walter Day, but the people. You guys are the ones that helped Walter Day. Walter could not have done this without your support. So you guys should give a big hand to yourselves. Ottumwa, come on, give yourself a round of applause. On behalf of Guinness World Record was not here, but we were able to do something. I want to read something to you guys. And this is actually in the Guinness Book of World Records, Gamers Edition, both the 2016 and 2017. On November 10th, 1981, a video game arcade called Twin Galaxies opened its door in Ottumwa, Iowa. Its founder, Walter Day, sought to turn gaming into an international sport by creating contests, enforcing rules, crowning champions, and measuring world records. He began by collecting high-score games from more than 100 arcades in the nation, releasing them as the Twin Galaxies National Scoreboard. This is from the Guinness Book of World Records. And with that, Guinness has presented Ottumwa, Iowa, and Walter Day with the Guinness certificate as the oldest video game adjudication service in the world, Twin Galaxies. Congratulations, Walter Day.
Thank you, Triforce. As usual, your brilliant leadership is very, very welcome everywhere in the gaming community, especially here in Ottumwa. And I'll tell you, this is quite a remarkable honor. There's not many cities that have an actual, Guinness World Record certificate hanging on their walls. And the whole idea that the whole inspiration of this is that it will be shared by the whole city. But this amazing thing has happened because of a lot of people. And one of the most important people, if it hadn't been for the brilliant leadership of Billy Mitchell, we probably wouldn't be here today with this happening. Billy, get up here.
We often didn't know where exactly we were running we did know that we were on a journey. We're on a journey to do something that no one had ever done before, and that was to establish a birthplace of competitive gaming. And the fact of the matter is, now that we've seen it come together more and more, and everyone collectively, they're embracing it and they're running with it, just like I said. Remember, the blood, sweat, and tears were earned here. You were first, and nobody can ever take that from you. No matter what, you were always the first. You were the one to embrace it, and this is where the roots of competitive gaming belong. So, with that being said, the committee that made all of this happen, including the guy behind the camera who's always bashful, I'd like everybody who's in that committee to please come forward, because we have something we want to say, something we want to give you. Again, something to mark the occasion.
It's all about just the amazing, amazing community of Ottumwa. Okay, presented November 19, 2016 to Michael Dudley. I'll just read one of them. After 35 years as the custodians of Ottumwa's video game legacy, because me and Billy kept this going for a long time, Billy Mitchell and Walter Day hereby pass the baton of responsibility onto a new generation of gamers and entrust them with the responsibility of fulfilling Ottumwa's destiny as the video game capital of the world and the birthplace of organized competitive esports. By the authority vested in us as the committee and the original custodians, we would like the representatives of the city of Ottumwa to please step forward.
How are you?
Well, we're very honored, we're very excited, and we're looking forward to seeing what the future brings and how we're going to continue to make this grow, be bigger and better, and let the world know that they're welcome in Ottumwa, Iowa, and we are the gaming capital of the world, and we're proud of that.
So on behalf of Mayor Lazio, I would like to read the Mayor's Proclamation for Twin Galaxies Day in Ottumwa, Iowa. Whereas November 10, 2016 marks the 35th anniversary of the founding of Twin Galaxies, and whereas Twin Galaxies is recognized as history's most famous video game arcade, and whereas Twin Galaxies is recognized as the historic birthplace of organized competitive esports, and whereas Twin Galaxies inspired Ottumwa Mayor Jerry Parker to proclaim Ottumwa the video game capital of the world on November 30, 1982. And whereas Twin Galaxies inspired Ottumwa to become an important cultural crossroads that honors and celebrates the history and evolution of the electronic entertainment industry. And whereas Twin Galaxies inspired Life magazine, ABC TV's That's Incredible, and Iowa Governor Terry Branstad to come to Ottumwa and recognize the city's status as the center of the video game culture. And whereas the citizens of Ottumwa have banded together to create a celebration during the weekend of November 18-20, 2016 that honors the video game legacy of Twin Galaxies in Ottumwa. So therefore I, Victor Strebe, City Councilman, on behalf of Tom Lazio, Mayor of the City of Ottumwa, Iowa, the video game capital of the world, proclaim Saturday, November 19, 2016 to be a day of civic observance called Twin Galaxies Day, where the citizens of Ottumwa are invited to honor the community's unique legacy as the video game capital of the world by celebrating the 35th anniversary of the founding of Twin Galaxies. Thank you.
It's almost like, it's not exactly a good analogy, but the Holy Land was holy to all the people in faraway countries, and the local people was just their home, you know? It's just your home, Ottumwa. But could be a big deal because people will come once this city creates things for them to come and be amazed by. So that's sort of like the challenge for Ottumwa. What are you going to do about this? You know, it's right there in the palm of your hand. There's a very shy person in this room, so I won't even invite him up here, but Jace Hall, the person he describes himself as the custodian of Twin Galaxies. So he actually is the person who purchased Twin Galaxies. He's a Hollywood producer and a game designer out of Hollywood, California. And he's here, hiding in the room someplace, I think. There he is. I think he's going to announce it. All right. Okay.
Here you go. This is Walter's achievement. I am just in the background, but I just wanted to say I appreciate what's going on here. I appreciate Ottumwa and all that has contributed to the very essence of what competitive gaming is. It means a lot, especially now as esports is getting huger and huger. This city specifically needs to recognize its huge contribution to that and take more ownership of it, because I think that there's a lot of future relevance and opportunity for Ottumwa in this ongoing video game extravaganza that Walter recognized so long ago. So, I just want to thank you for allowing me to be here and participate. And I've had some really great food around here, so thumbs up.
And everybody should wave to Tim McVeigh, who's too bashful to come down. So he's up there with his pizza.
All right. Just want to say this one thing real quick. It's about the people of Ottumwa, the people representing the city of Ottumwa, the committee of Ottumwa. You guys have to realize something. Guinness World Records recognizes you, so you need to recognize yourself and put Ottumwa back on the map.
With that, we really just want to thank everybody for coming. In the community, we want to thank you all for coming and supporting us. We hope you had a fantastic weekend. We still hope you have a fantastic tomorrow.
With that being said, thank you all for coming.
Hold that like that. Hold that.
One last thing. He could
Hey, Jace, he could fall forward.
He could fall right into the cage.
Wouldn't be a bad thing, though.
All right, with all that being said, we have cake.
What's up, Brandon?
Ottumwa is definitely the video game capital of the world because the culture and the foundation of competitive gaming was rooted here.
Every sport has a culture. Some have a storied history. Some are still younger than those that participate. This weekend, hundreds of gamers gathered to Twin Galaxies for its 35th anniversary. Those who remember when the arcade first opened have close ties to the historic building.
I still remember the first day when I got to put the apron and the quarters on and give change.
It was always something to read about what the highest score on any game was, and then to go to my arcade and play and try to see how close I could get.
It was that level of passion that sparked video game competitions. Back in 2008, Guinness World Records named Twin Galaxies the official supplier of verified gaming world records. Many would consider the founder of Twin Galaxies, Walter Day, the father of competitive gaming, known today as esports. If you ask Day if the name fits, he'll humbly leave that up to the gaming masses.
It's not even my privilege or my authority to do, even though I could promote myself that way. It's actually a decision that'll have to be made by the collective consensus of the time.
In 1981, Day had a vision to put Ottumwa on the gaming map. 35 years later, Twin Galaxies still has a place in gaming history.
So if Guinness backs it, and I back it, and a lot of the classic gamers back it, from Billy Mitchell, Todd Rogers, Ben Gold, and so much more, then yeah, it's really the video game capital of the world.
In Ottumwa, Stephen Seeley, KTVO News.
I think it's kind of the meeting point. I mean, between north, south, east, west, it's just kind of a crossroads. It's kind of where everybody comes together, all in one lump sum.
All right, and Tim?
Well, you all know I'm old. I've been here for a long time. I was here when the original Twin Galaxies was here, and it was the original spot. I mean, anybody that was trying to go for a world record or trying to make a name for themselves in video games, they came to Ottumwa, Iowa. That's how the world knew about him at the time. Walter was the center of the universe as it related to video games. And if you wanted to be known and you wanted to have a world record, this is where you came to do it. Ottumwa, at that time, Twin Galaxies is often referred to as the Dodge City of video games, because the best of the best would come here to show down and prove their mettle. I thought the celebration was great. For the facility that we had, it was just about the right turnout. If we'd had more people, it would have been a little bit too crowded and people wouldn't have been able to play the games like they were. I think it worked out really well. All the machines were full the entire weekend. They were being played. Seen kids that had never seen arcade machines, never seen a real pinball machine probably. They were just having a blast. Seeing the smiles on the kids' faces and everything, that made the whole weekend worth all the work.
There was a lot of kids here, a lot of kids.
It's our next generation. It's our future. The turnout here was great. It far exceeded our expectations. For the short amount of time that we had to set this up and actually get it done and pull it off, it was great. It was a lot of fun this weekend.
I'm Brian Koo, and I'm a classic gamer. I'm a world record holder on classic games. Well, I really enjoyed the time at this event. I can't imagine much more fun than the 35th anniversary of Twin Galaxies. By far, one of the greatest things was that it was held just across the street from where Walter Day's Twin Galaxies arcade was in Ottumwa many, many years ago. We had an unusually high attendance, the room was packed, and a lot of people were very interested in coming and playing video games all day long. Various contests were held throughout the day, which had many participants in them, as well as just a general gathering of legendary players. Triforce was there, I was there, Billy Mitchell was there, Walter Day was there, Greg Lau was there. We truly had a gathering of great players for a great event. Nothing could be more fun than celebrating the anniversary of the greatest arcade ever and the video game capital of the world. Well, Walter was the first person to actively record scores, verify scores, collect scores, and compile scores. He would later go on to publish the Book of World Records. Because Walter was collecting this data very early on in the years of competitive video game playing, he was the founder of esports. Now, he not only collected high scores from his arcade or from players he knew, but players from all over the country and then later all over the world. He became known to all of the manufacturers as the go-to man, the go-to person, and the do-everything guy for the collection and verification and compilation of high scores. And not just the highest score, but maybe the top 10 scores, and in case of a popular game, the top 100 scores. And this was the foundation of esports. And further, Walter's competitions would lead on to larger media events and bigger media promotions, such as his tournaments that would determine who would go on the television show That's Incredible. Walter was very good in the early years at contacting the media, and the media quickly recognized Walter as the person who had all the answers and recognized Walter as the authority on video game high scores. Walter would promote video games, the business of arcades, and the high scores achieved throughout newspapers, magazines, and televisions, and television for years. In fact, Walter even had a very brief television broadcast which showed current video game high scores, which was quite popular at the time and may come back for all we know. As time passed, Walter Day and Twin Galaxies were some of the people involved in the movie The King of Kong, which showed competitive video game playing to the entire world. For the first time, people who might have been cut out of video game playing before because they hadn't heard about it, because they hadn't seen competitions before, suddenly in their living rooms, they all were able to watch The King of Kong and see and learn about competitive video game playing. The King of Kong had quite an impact because it broadened who could enter a video game contest. It opened the video game world up to more people, and further just made it very easy for the general public, for anybody, to see what goes on in video game competitions and to see how serious it is, and to see how Walter Day to this day still referees and adjudicates high scores and determines world champions. It was an excellent 35th anniversary celebration of Twin Galaxies, as well as a celebration of Walter as the father and founder of all esports. Yes, I'm planning on attending next year's event, which is going to celebrate the 35th anniversary of the Life magazine photo, which recorded star players at that time positioned in front of games out in front of Twin Galaxies. It was a very critical moment in the history of esports, and that it was one of the first big media pushes for champions of esports and all the high-scoring champions of those games.
And so, the 35th anniversary of Twin Galaxies in Ottumwa, Iowa has come and gone. On my journey back to my home island of Jamaica, I reflected on the revelation on the history of Ottumwa's Twin Galaxies. In the summer of 1981, Walter Day traveled around the United States to visit more than 100 arcades. His fascination with high-level video game play inspired him to collect the top scores and names of the best players on each of those arcade games that he came across. This passion drove him to create his own arcade called Twin Galaxies. Thus, on November 10, 1981, he opened the doors to his Twin Galaxies arcade, which was located on 226 East Main Street in downtown Ottumwa. A few months later, he launched his national scoreboard, which hosts the records for the players and the games for more than 100 arcade games nationwide that he collected months prior to opening his arcade. His scoreboard became the standard in which champions were recognized. Gamers referred to Walter Day's Twin Galaxies from companies such as Atari, Nintendo, Guinness World Records, and other luminary video game companies at the time. Through Twin Galaxies, Walter sought to turn gaming into an international sport. He did so many things such as creating contests, enforced rules, crowned champions, recorded and helped publish records into the Guinness Book of World Records, acquired sponsorships for events, helped to broadcast to the companies commercially as a sport on public access TV and national network television. Eventually, players from around the nation and the world started using Twin Galaxies adjudication services as a standard in competitive gaming. Surviving 35 years of the constant evolution of the esports culture and now the industrial revolution of its industry, Guinness World Record awards Walter Day and Ottumwa's Twin Galaxies as the oldest video game adjudication service in competitive gaming, which is now commonly called esports. Like Ottumwa, Iowa, there are entire regions in the world where the culture and the history of esports is lost in a maze of relevance. Each location abundant with stories of communities, competitions, and experiences of great feats from legendary gamers of old. These stories and the people behind them all contribute to the development of the global esports culture that the world has yet to know. For now, I continue to travel the world to these very regions and locations such as the Caribbean and Africa, where their histories in esports is yet unearthed.